I guess I don't know. I don't know where to start, man. Do we just want to start with like our initial reactions? Everybody who we got the mic, so I'm gonna pass the mic around. So who wants to start talking first? I'm gonna let y'all start. You want? She been waiting. Shay been waiting. I'm gonna let Shay kick us off because she been waiting.
Okay, so I feel like this film. Okay, so I feel like this film is just deeper than just making cool cinematography in 2025 with vampires. I think it's way deeper than that. Them making the setting in the Mississippi Delta and including the blues, especially when you know the history of the blues. That's where the blues started, and also when you take into account public figures like Robert Johnson, who had the myth and the legend of selling his soul to the devil at the crossroads. Everybody know blues, the Mississippi Delta and the crossroads. That's where you meet the devil at. That's where you can sell your soul for anything that you want. And tying that film into vampires, and you know, vampires suck the life out of you. You give your energy to the wrong entity, and they want your blues, they want your stories, they want your songs, and they'll take everything from you just because they feel like they want what you have, but they could never have it. When they was in the building and they was talking about like the different spirits and the souls from the past, you know, the past, present, and future, you start to see like how it's transcended through all of us. It's in our blood, it's in our, you know, our veins, and it's in us through our generations to come. And the head vampire sensed that, and he wanted that, but he could never get it because he didn't have a soul, for one. And even when he did his own version of music and everything, it didn't have no soul to it. It had no soul. Like, it had no feeling. And when he turned the others into vampires, they conformed and did the same music that he did. They didn't have the soul no more. They didn't have the blues no more. It was more so about, yep, oh yeah. And I felt like it was more so about you giving away who you are to an entity that can never be that. And when you give it away, you're basically selling out to something else. And that's just a piece of it. It's a lot more to dissect. Even when me and this young lady, what's your name? I'm sorry. Rayma. We had a lot of conversations through the movie, and she pointed out even about like the sin and how that changed the energy in the room. Did you want to talk more about it?
Yeah, definitely just knowing that I come from a place of being kind of tapped in with my faith for sure. It like clicked, like, oh wow, this is Sinners. Like, I get it now. It seemed like music was the perfect gateway or threshold into debauchery. So it started from pain, and then it transcended to a joyous time where we're connecting and we're fellowshipping. And then you saw the sex, and then you saw the money, and you saw the greed, and you saw the violence. And then, I don't know, I felt, I definitely heard the music change and the energy change in a place where they had gathered for community. They gathered and bonded over pain, which was the blues. And then you started to see the progression of music, and then it turned into the twerking and all of the other things that we see in our culture today. And it just seemed like eventually it got to that point of just being like pretty simple and less fun. And then it's like, wow, we started from this. We started from something that seemed very pure, and now we're here, and all hell has broke loose, literally. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. Just one more point, too. But also think of how you had to let the vampire in order for them to be able to do what they do, in order for them to suck all the life and energy out of the room. You had to invite them in first. And I feel like a lot of times, even when you look at our culture today, we invited so many people in who have done nothing but take from us, exploit us, and have nothing in return for us but pain and hurt. And all they was able to do was take from us. That was my other point.
That's crazy. I actually think I knew music was gonna be like a heavy thing in here. I didn't think he was gonna use it like that. Like, he used it a lot. Like you said, the juxtaposition from the music they were doing, you know, the soul music versus, it felt like the Irish music. that the vampire was doing. Obviously, the scene, my favorite scene was the scene when they went through the different, yeah, when he started doing his song and they went through the different time periods was insane. Cinematography was insane, but even how they use music to like give you a feeling. I was sitting next to Jazz and she said there was a point where it made her feel weirded out and anxious, like in the scene. And I'm like, man, even the way they use music in the movie to kind of affect you as the viewer was crazy. So it's his use of music in here was wild. Like he's usually good about that, but he went crazy with this one. I'm gonna pass it to this side.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say. Well, one of the things that stuck out to me in the movie, well, I can just honestly say like how like Michael B. Jordan, he just played two sides, and to me, it's like it's kind of like that kind of brought it to me like a battle within ourselves. Sometimes we battle ourselves about the good choice we make and the bad choice we make. But you can also see how like when he wanted to kill his brother, he didn't want to do it at the end of the day because that was a piece of him. And that was, I ain't gonna fake it. That was just one of my favorite scenes and stuff like that. I ain't gonna fake it.
Man, I have a lot of thoughts about this film, but I agree on that point. Like Michael B. Jordan did such an amazing job. You know how good you have to be to play two characters that are twins, but you like different things about them. They got different little mannerisms about each other, and it was really well done on the acting side. I definitely anticipated music would play a role in a Coogler film because he always does well with the music. I'm a big Black Panther guy, so even going back to that film with Kendrick Lamar and all that music and everything, like that was like game changing. So I wasn't surprised to see that, but I thought there was a few things that were clever. I thought it was interesting that, as you mentioned, like music, black music, hip hop, used in like a demonic tone in this society. In this film, we use white Irish music as the demonic music, and I thought that was pretty clever. And I also enjoyed that our initial encounter with the vampires or the evil or the devil, it was like the classic trope of the white devil, like letting them inside, down to the red eyes. I thought that was really cool. And I think the most powerful scene for me was when Delroy's character was telling that funny story about how him and his friends got the job at the club to play some music for all the white people with all the good money, and they were out doing this, that, and the third with it. And then the reality hits of white people taking that money from them, lying about it, getting them incarcerated, and then committing acts of violence against them. And that part touched him so deeply that he just kind of like, and then that kind of shows where the origins of the blues comes from. It's from pain. It's from like going through things. And he also mentioned how it was really indicative to him that the white people enjoyed the music, they just didn't like the people who made it. So those were some of my takeaways from it.
Just very quickly, I'm going to say what hit home to me was we all have the power of vision, and we need to keep our eyes open and be careful who we invite in our homes and in our spirit. Quite simply, we tend to be willfully blind because we want to be with the person we want to be with, and we knowing deep down that person that we want to be with is not very good for us. So we need to keep our eyes open and protect our hearts and be careful who you invite in your home.
I got something to say. Now I got something to say. There's so much about deconstructing Christianity in this film, and I might be a little bit too deep, but I will say, when I was younger, I used to want to be a vampire. So let me start there, because they made it seem like you live a great life. You stay young forever. You get to have super strength. You can, like, you're a god, right? And so with that in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking about, we can be together forever. We can run this shit. Oh, can I curse? I'm sorry. We can run this forever. We can be together. And they made this argument about, the white man is going to give you this thing, but you really don't have it. So instead of trying to have this illusion of what they've given us, what they've told us that we can have, they're going to give us money, they're going to give us land, but they're going to figure out a way to take it back. Why don't we become vampires and live forever and, like, live like gods, right? And the reason why I'm tying that to deconstructing Christianity is because I think Ryan Coogler did an amazing job. Whoever the screenwriters were, I don't know if it was just him, but it was also like, can we deconstruct what is good and what is bad? Like, just the same way how you said, like, the blues is usually seen as juke joint music, and it was like, you're going down there to the devil's house and you never know what's going to happen, but you flipped it to this Irish music and even to the Native American music of, I'm sure he made somebody a vampire that was Native American, hence why they were searching him, you know, hunting him down. But, like, as usual, Ryan Coogler did an amazing job with the cinematography and the writing and just making you question a lot about what you think you know. Like, all the things that you think you know about what is a sinner, what is good, what is bad, you got to question that. Because who won in the end? They can't see the sun anymore, but the two people that were in love and couldn't be together, they're in love forever. They get to be together forever. So, I don't know. That's a bet.
Anybody else got initial thoughts they want to share? Now is the time. The pressure. You standing up?
I'll sit like this. I think it was a very well done film. I think there was so many messages. There was a lot of there was just a lot. There was a lot to take in. I think I'm gonna be the person that gives a little critique, maybe out of the gate. I think based on what a lot of you guys said, what a lot of people said, and the juxtaposition of the blues and that deep pain and where that comes from, I think I would have liked in the film to have gotten a little bit more history on the dad. They talked a lot about him. They alluded to the fact that they had to murder him and that he was an evil man, the twins' dad, that he was a very evil man, and that's almost essentially what they alluded to sparked, I think, this in his guitar. But we didn't get a ton of information about how he ended up in that position to be the conduit for all of these things. And I think duality was a big theme throughout this. And I think getting a little bit of backstory about the cousin's dad, who was the preacher, versus his dad, and how they both ended up in such separate places, and how that got us to where we were in the story right now, I think would have gone a long way. And I think that was missing a little bit for me. And I also think, too, when we talk about the 1930s, and we got it a lot with Annie's character and her beliefs in more like hoodoo, voodoo types of things, where we see her giving like the protective piece to him. I don't know that was leaned into enough to, like, again, understand how we got to like a vampire showing up at somebody's doorstep. And I think, like, what Shay talked about here was that the understanding of the Mississippi Delta, the crossroads, selling your soul to the devil, is a lot of context that you have to kind of have going into the film. But if you don't have that, you're going to be a little bit confused as to, like, how we got here in the first place. So other than that, I do agree with Jamel that I think the scene where we juxtapose music throughout the decades and the centuries is probably one of the strongest pieces of cinematography that I've seen in a really long time. And I think that in itself is worth probably hours of conversation and breakdown. But yeah, I think in general, I would have liked a little bit more history leading up into how we got to where we were. Not that it wasn't history, but the fathers and who was evil and how we got here and how they had this reputation, how they got to where we were.
One little quick thing. I just want to recognize how much of a goon Ryan Coogler is. I mean, this man gave us Wakanda. He gave black people Wakanda, and we all thought we were kings and queens. In 2025, in Trump's America, Ryan Coogler just showed this black man killing the Ku Klux Klan, like sniping them. I mean, Ryan Coogler, you that dude for us right now. We saw how white people were just takers. and they been that. I mean, no offense to our white sisters and brothers that are here, but I'm just saying history keeps showing us the character that is ingrained in these people, and I don't know why. But who are they? I don't know, but like, I just want to give kudos to Ryan Coogler for his genius.
My question is something that me and my brother here was discussing as we sat here. The Asian woman at the end, when she invited them in, as parents, even people who aren't parents, who would have done that? Who would not have done that?
Give some more context as to why you think she did it, though.
I don't get it.
I mean, I think that's important.
Who would have done what she did? Because she invited them in.
To do what, though, in your mind?
To fight.
But to
Yeah.
say, but why?
Right, to save her child.
Right.
I thought that was evident. I apologize. Right, you're right. But who would have done that as a parent or someone who's going to be a parent or thinking about being a parent?
I definitely think it was a hatred thing because notice they had to cover her mouth. It was like boiling up in her. So at that point, they were literally trying to talk her off the ledge of letting them in. And then finally she exploded with rage, she exploded with anger. And then also I think it was tied to her motive. So when she was with her husband and she saw all the stuff hitting the fan, she goes, "Oh no, babe, we came to do business." She didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't it wasn't necessarily as deep rooted with community. She said, "We've done business with them. It's time to go." Exactly, and she said, "Let's just get up out of here." So I definitely think it spoke to motive, and we've seen other cultures do business with us, and it seemed transactional. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She bit his hand to get free. That's a very interesting. It's funny because it's something so small too that you only kind of catch if you're thinking about it, and it's not like, I guess it's not a big piece to the movie or the story in general. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's interesting thinking about that, and who would, like, naturally that's something we would all kind of think about. I guess the question is who would have invited them in? Would anybody in here invited them in? Yeah.
This is who I really wanted. I was gonna catch him later. I want to know what he has to say.
She was triggered. She was specifically triggered in her language, in her native tongue. I'm going after your daughter. Right there. See, that would take anybody out of character. When the devil, the vampire, whatever you want to call him, knows your weakness, spoke your language before you were ready to even receive it, triggered it. If you don't come out, you know what? I'm gonna laugh at you as I get your daughter. And that's when now it's not communal no more. We're not black, we're not white, we not, the colors are gone now. The colors are gone. It is indeed spiritual. That is correct.
I'd like to talk about it as a plot device in horror film. Part of the reason why people enjoy horror movies so much is because it makes them feel smarter. Because it's exactly that. I would have never do that. It makes you feel like, oh, I would have made a better decision of that. So I like that he used that aspect of it. But I 100% agree that it was a more personal choice. I think she could have just went out by her own and died if she wanted to. Didn't have to bring everybody else into it. That's That's my takeaway.
Because I don't recall seeing like Asians in this period like in other movies.
I had the same question.
Like,
and I was gonna ask that as well because I've watched some films where like in the Caribbean culture and whatever, like Asian Americans and that are very common, not like common as amongst, you know, the minorities of places, but here I'm not so positive if that was the case. And I was like, maybe I just am unaware of what it is, but I think because of what we've been taught about, I think the tension between the two groups still. So I thought it was super interesting, and I think it was very intentional that he included that for, I think, that conversation, that reason. And I think, again, it's just one of those things that made me realize, oh, maybe there were more than just black people involved in like doing these things and in these scenarios and areas.
It's so funny. The funniest thing I had my dog Lex. She literally mapped out like questions and everything for us to go through, and we ain't touching none of them because y'all we on 10, right? This is good though. This is good. This is good conversation. So I'm excited. It's going well. So I am going to get to some of these questions, just so we can keep moving. So the first one is, what are the top 2 emotions that you guys felt after seeing this? And I'll lead with mine. I felt one was anxiety. That was probably my number one emotion was anxiety. But then also excitement. And those are my 2. I felt anxious, but I also felt excited kind of leaving this. And some of it's for the movie or just kind of what it meant. Cause we live in this world where like everything is like Marvel and all these big heavy things, and we don't really get to see original movies anymore. And I think that's one thing I think was cool for Ryan and Michael B. Jordan is they had the Creed franchise, which already existed before them, right? You got Black Panther and Marvel, and that already exists. Like this is his own brainchild and thought, and he gets to really like flesh it out and make it his own world. And I think this is the first time we've been able to see him do that. So I'm excited for that and seeing something original. But yeah, that motherfucker gave me anxiety. So yes, who wants to go first? What are the emotions y'all felt?
I'd say motivated to stick together and fight together because we win together. And then I think the emotion, I don't know if I was necessarily, maybe I was feeling this at the end when they were reunited with their baby, but love was exhibited a lot. Like, even though these Smoke and Stack, they were hardcore, I appreciated how we got to see the tender sides of both of them and how love was intertwined, like, throughout the film in general. So, like, that ending scene where the family was reunited definitely felt some tender moments of love just seeing that.
I want to say I felt sorrow. I think I just felt pain for my people, like especially the scene where they were riding in the car and where blues came from, and he just, all he could do was just hum and hit his chest, and those were no words. So I definitely felt sorrow. And then definitely at the end when he was rolling up and he just had all the memories and he was ruminating and he took off the chain, his protection, and it was almost just like I don't know, it seemed like the blunt or whatever he was rolling up, he was just, it was escapism. And yeah, that made me feel pretty sad for my people, so yeah.
Anybody?
Inspiring that they just get up. I mean, I know it's hard and you don't have much else to do, but they're just doing it, and I'm just thinking like, man, they just would have killed me a long time ago. Like, I could not endure that. And like, as much as like she hated or was mad at Smoke or Stack, when he asked her to like come cook the fish, she was just like, all right. I just remember like, nah, like it's just not happening. I don't know who's gonna cook the fish. And it just inspires me to like be there for people who like you might not always agree with, or you don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. So I just felt very inspired, and just like, you don't need much to bring people together. We just turned this old sawmill into a night of like fun for our people. So I felt very inspired. Yeah.
Another point on the love, though, I thought it was dope that Sammy decided to pursue what he really loved. So yeah.
I thought that was super interesting, ending it like that, and him, because it felt like when he went back to the church, he was like gonna rebuke everything and drop the guitar and all that. But it's like, no, he left. He went to his freedom that he had been craving, like irregardless, and still kept that guitar, for the rest of his life. And then, of course, his cousin comes back, and it's almost like, well, were they that bad? He's saying it's the best night of his life. You know what I mean? It's interesting for them to kind of end it that way. So it's funny. I also didn't expect him to be such a big character. A big character. Like I didn't know he was gonna be. I thought this was gonna be a lot more focused on Michael B. Jordan and then Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, it felt like he was more so. Yeah, it felt like he was kind of the main character of this. So then that leads me to ask the next question: who was you guys' favorite character in the movie? Because mine was Slim. Slim was my favorite character. Slim was hilarious, but like, yeah, that was the old head. He was my favorite character for sure. I think he just kind of, because it felt like a thriller horror flick, and he kind of would break the tension at the perfect times and kind of keep you engaged in another way, but then you get right back to it. It kept it so the tension and the thrill wasn't exhausting, and it didn't feel redundant. But anybody else got their favorite character or characters? You don't know? You still thinking on it?
Mine was definitely Slim too.
Yeah.
And he went out like a champion.
Slim definitely went out to save everybody.
I don't know if I have a favorite just yet, but I was surprised by Miss Mary. Y'all talked about her before, and I wasn't familiar with her. But I'm like, okay, chick. I mean, I don't like your character, but okay.
One point to make about that too that I think is potentially interesting. Is there anybody that thought about the fact that she was very specifically the conduit to like opening up them to all of that evil and like introducing them and allowing that to touch them?
Yeah. They gonna talk to me. And if I say they talk, that the kind of real quick conversation.
I think it's again under that kind of conversation about like the assumption that it can affect you because of who you are. Yeah.
Like, I think that's also sometimes white people thinking they know what's better for black people than black people. And so all the black people in there are like, do not let them white people in. We have the heebie-jeebies about these people. We cannot let these people inside. And the white girl that's cool with them is like, you know what? Let's try it out. I don't know, man. Let's see. Let's give it a shot. I might be able to help y'all out. Let me and there can be good, well-intentioned people. Like they could be good, well-intentioned people and still lead you down the wrong place if you're not listening to the people it's actually affecting. So I thought that was good. I think my favorite character was Stack. I was actually really sad when Stack died. And I, again, will applaud Michael B. Jordan for making such a distinction between the two. You could have really thought they were the same person, but they did such a good job with that. So that was my favorite character.
I ain't gonna fake it. My favorite character ever, I forgot his name, but he's one of the best comedians, the one that played Cornbread. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna fake it. He's the one that kind of like opened up like, hey, bro, what's going on? Who is you? Why you not coming in here? You know what I'm saying? But just like the way his little cameo did, I love bro. So, hey, shout out Cornbread.
Hey, R.I.P. Cornbread, man. So it's funny, Michael Jordan kind of he feels like one of them actors you either like or you don't like, right? Like I feel like a lot of people talk about his acting and how it's hit or miss, and I kind of felt that way at one point. I think this is probably the best acting I've seen him do since The Wire when he was Wallace. The Wire. I think he did good in Fruitvale, but I felt like the story was what drove Fruitvale to me. And Ryan Coogler, like Michael B. Jordan acting, like this is the best I've seen him do. He gave me two separate characters and he made them feel different but the same. Like they like that is hard to do. You know, like to find that line where we're brothers and we feel like the same, but we we're different people. I feel like this is some of the best acting he's done. The kinder brother. Stack was probably the kinder brother.
Which is interesting.
Stack was the kinder brother.
And I think that's interesting because if you look at the movie, like they very definitively showed up in red and blue.
Yes.
And I think Stack being the red character would have made you think that he was the more intense one, the more mean one, the more evil one. And I don't think that that was necessarily like what those colors depicted. And I'm also very curious about the depiction of the grills in very particular people and who had them and who didn't and what that signified. Because I haven't come up with anything yet, but yeah.
Yes. Smoke shot a lot of people. I don't think I seen Stack kill anybody. I don't think he smoked nobody. I don't think he did anything. Like, Smoke was anybody coming in. He almost killed Baby Boy. They was both fearless. Yeah. Smoke was Stack was just reckless. Stack was reckless.
No, I'm not going to let you besmirch Michael B. Jordan's acting ability by saying, since The Wire, my guy? Just because it's an action film doesn't mean there wasn't a depth of character in Creed 1, 2, what was he in, 2 and 3? How many has he had now? 3. When he had to talk to his daughter, who was hearing impaired, are you telling me that you didn't feel the scene when he had to talk to his wife and express all of the emotions he had repressed from being a child that was raised in the system? Like, don't do Michael B. Jordan, first of all. Secondly, I also want to give a shout out to the other actors because a lot of times we give credit to them playing two characters, but the people that have to act against no one being there, like they have to react to there's somebody there, but that's not really who they are. So shout out to them. Pearline, is that the woman who died who had the baby? What's her name? Miss Annie. She was in the show with, oh my God, Lovecraft Country. We got robbed by not getting more of those. She is such a she is such a beautiful woman, and she kills every role she's in, and I love how she's delving into these horror films, these sci-fi films. So I want to give her props as well. I need to find out what her real name is, but I love her and how she was able to act against no one being there and the rest of the cast. It was amazing. But don't besmirch.
Oh my God. So right. So I got a fun one. So Ryan Coogler talked a lot about like he's a superstitious dude. I'm very superstitious. So I'm gonna ask, Coogler, the director. He said he's a very superstitious dude. So I'm gonna ask y'all, are you guys superstitious, or what are some of y'all superstitious stuff? Because I got one. I do. That.
What? Are you serious?
That because Shirley didn't believe it. That because she didn't believe it. That's because she didn't believe it. It's because she didn't believe it. It's crazy, ain't it? Hey, universe came to you. The universe came to you quick. Listen, I am superstitious. I will not split a pole. That's my big one. If you split a pole, I will walk back and go. I don't care how far back it was, 2 blocks. No. No, I lead the way so that you got to follow me. I will not split a pole. No. I walk first. I walk first so that I can be the leader on the pole. I'm not the one splitting that pole. I'm leading. I'm not splitting the pole. I'm leading the way. I will not. I will not. That's the if are you superstitious, and what's your superstition? Like what's the thought that you just won't let roll?
I promise I'm just not being like devil's advocate. I have become less superstitious the more I've gotten into my faith and spirituality. I feel like a lot can just derive from just like the Bible and its truths, and then you have people making up their own doctrines and whatnot. And I think I'm a lot less superstitious. Even when they were like quoting the Bible and whatnot, I'm like, okay, I understand where this is coming from. I see how they're depicting the devil. I definitely think that we are more in tune with nature and creation as people, but I think that was kind of severed as we are not as attached to our ancestry and our culture. And so, yeah, I don't necessarily know if I'm superstitious, but yeah.
She hollering about them superstitions Sharayla didn't believe in. She didn't believe in. She need to be, right?
And as you were asking, I was thinking to myself that, I was raised superstitious. My parents, my grandmother, they were very superstitious. So I believed in it because that's the way I was raised. But right now, no, I would say I'm not. But I still have habits. Like I'll take off my hat and put it on the bed, and I'll snatch it off. But that's only because of a habit. Well, the hat on the bed is bad luck.
What does it mean, though?
I don't know. Just told you. But yeah,
all over your show.
I don't know. But there's other things. There's other things that because of the way I was raised, I still feel it, but I don't believe it.
Wait, let me piggyback. I want to piggyback on what you said. I'm gonna pass it. I think you are so right and spot on in that there are times when things happen to you and you're like, oh, why did I know that? Or why didn't I go? Or why did I stay? Why didn't I pick up the phone? Like, I feel like those are all, it's all like this like wispy, magical nature thing that we can tap into. But something prevents us from doing that because we're in a simulation, number one. But number two, that's a joke, kind of. But it's like that piece of it. But it does come from a place. Those of us that didn't come from here, America, like we came and were taken. They came. There's a reason why those superstitions started,
Yes.
but we don't even know why. Like I'm asking, why can't we put the hat on the bed? I don't know. Why can't we split the pole? Do you know why we don't? See, that's what I'm saying. If you believe in something enough, it becomes true. That's basically what I was saying about that.
It's already moving. Does the qualification or us moving to them in modern times as quote superstitions and categorizing them as like this thing to not believe in or not pull us far away from where our ancestries began them with? And is that why we're so disconnected?
So honestly, having lived in Africa with less disruptors, my cycle synced up to the tide. So I woke up in the morning and I knew what the tide looked like. Why? Because I didn't have this here. I didn't have all of the things, all of the distractions, all the infrastructure, all the buildup, all of the music, all of the, just boom, boom, boom in your face. Your nervous system's tore up. I literally connected with nature. And so honestly, some superstitions and whatnot, we are more connected to creation and to the stars than we realize. But that has been severed on so many different levels because we have all of these interrupters. And like you said, we can't see it, but we can feel it. And the energy when you are on the continent is totally different than the energy when you're here as a Black person.
And I just want to add one small thing, how I don't want to separate prayer and superstitions because Annie talked about how she still prayed. You know what I'm saying? But she still had her whatever's on the neck and herbs and things like that. And so, as I was listening to you, I was thinking about one, I'm like, oh, my hand itched. Let me see what that means. Something with money, one or rather another. But I also prayed about it. And it led to an answered prayer. And it's like God prepared me for what was coming. And so it's like they're intertwined, and I believe that. And yeah, I've just gotten confirmation of that recently.
It's crazy. You got something to say?
Yeah, it was just about superstitions. I don't know. I was kind of raised by my grandma at one point in my life, but just in the Black community, or I don't know if anybody else, but you ever sweep somebody's feet, you got to spit on the broom. Wouldn't they say, well, this one of our, that's just one. Does anybody know where that comes from?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that we do. I don't know where they come from. And part of that is probably by design. But it's interesting having them conversations about spirituality and whatnot, because what you said is right. There's a lot of spiritual things and items and stuff get put in that this is voodoo, this is bad. Yeah. But like you said, people who told us that, who put that in us. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And she still believed in something higher and God and whatever that was, you know. So it's interesting how those things are frowned upon and portrayed as bad things. But you see somebody in the movie who was into that, but she also was a good character, you know, came from something better. It's right, exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad they said that in the movie too. I did. I peeped the For Us By Us thing. So we've been here for a while. I'm gonna get one last question, and then I'm gonna and if anybody got any other thoughts. So this is 5 movies now that Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler got together. So now that you guys have seen Sinners, is this their best movie? Do you guys think this is the number one? Ryan Coogler, this is their 5th movie together. Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. So yes, for me, and I may be caught up in the moment, but I do feel like this is their best movie. I think this is the best of both of them. I still think this is the best acting Michael B. Jordan ever has done. And I think for Ryan Coogler, especially being able to take an original concept, this is the best he's ever done. So yes, this is number one for me. I don't know if anybody else would like to share.
I'm just wondering where his mind, like, how did you write these words and come up with this story? I'm just amazed by that.
Yes, I don't know.
I have a few things. I think that how many of us are creatives in this room? Okay. Everything that you create is supposed to be better than or different than. So I don't think it's fair, having just seen the movie an hour ago, to say this is their best film together. And that's all. I mean, because when I think about Creed with the Jonathan Majors character and how that was an innovative way to shoot when they had the whole crowd go away. I don't know if you saw the interviews with Ryan Coogler, and he was like, no one shot like this for a boxing film. They shot like this for like nature or whatever, but that was innovative. For Black Panther, that was innovative, the way that they shot when Ryan directed it. So I think, you know, the point of the creative process is to keep innovating. You can I shouldn't say the point. That's not fair either. When you want to innovate as a creative, you try, and that's what it is. So I'm going to reserve is this their best film together? And I don't care what you think. These are my friends.
I would say the combination of the cinematography, the original screenplay, the writing, the use of music, the score. I mean, the score was great. Ludwig killed it again, as he always does. And I mean, I thought it was so good. At the end of the movie, the song that he's playing, that Preacher Boy is playing, was the score of the whole movie the whole time. We just didn't even realize it until the end. And, you know, back to Michael B. Jordan's incredible acting skills in 2 different roles in the same film, taking a fantastical concept and grounding it a little bit to be more scary and not like cartoony and vampire-y and like overdone. I think we've spent so much time dissecting all of the religious parody and breakdowns and all that stuff. I would have to put it close to the top. I think my favorite Coogler film would probably be Black Panther 2. Michael B. Jordan wasn't in that one, but I thought he did such an amazing job. He had a small little portion of it, but I thought that was an impossible task to like make a second one after Chadwick died, and he did brilliantly. So if we don't count that one, I'd probably put this one at the top. Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy.
Okay. Does anybody have any other thoughts to share, Donna? Of course.
I do want to say this was awesome. And something that you both said, and I'm going to think on this
So you got the brothers, you got the preacher, and you got the twins' dad, brothers. Then you got the twins' brothers, the whole Cain and Abel story. And when you talked about the preacher, and I'm really going to think on that, right? It's a whole nother layer. And what's this power that this guitar has? Right? What's that backstory with the guitar? I still want to know about this guitar.
He broke it, but he had it together at the end of the movie.
Yes, he put it together.
Oh, Easter Sunday.
Oh, it's Holy Week.
I like the Cain and Abel approach, maybe from the preacher and like the preacher's brother.
Right.
And then the lineage that comes from.
Right, and because also the twins, the dad was beating the son up so bad that the other son had to kill the dad, which supposedly. But there's sacrifice there.
Because they said, oh yeah, I was knocked out. Was it true y'all killed your dad? Like, no, he did.
So do you guys think we'll get a prequel?
That's gonna be
Definitely. Do you think it'll be a
Oh, an origin story?
That would be interesting.
One more question I had. We talked a lot about music and how some of it could be like the devil's playground, or, that entrance into other things. But did anybody see it as a superpower? Sammy's superpower.
That's why he wanted him so bad.
He wanted him so bad. And he was almost like untouchable. And he had the superpower about him. Like he was that good. Like he transcended all of it. And everyone wanted to protect him. Slim wanted to protect, everyone wanted to protect him to the end. Like he had a higher purpose. He had more to go.
It's funny too because the vampire showed up when he started singing the first time, and they showed up at the end when he was singing the second time. Yeah. And they only showed up when he was singing. Like he was summoning them or something like that. It's interesting. Yeah.
Is he Lucifer? I don't know.
Ain't no telling. Find out next time.
I got a question, a small question. Did anybody figure out how they got their name, Smokestack?
I was thinking the same thing. The smoke room. Because he liked to smoke.
I noticed one of them was always smoking, the other one always had money. Was it like that since they were kids? Because even at the end, when he comes to see him, he puts $200 down. Like, he's always got a stack. But I would have liked, like, some type of, that would be my critique, like, give me some background on how they got their name, Smokestack. Because we actually... Well, they also gave us their government names, too. Like, but I would have liked to have a little bit on that, you know.
So then, do y'all think we'll get a prequel or a sequel? You think we will? Yes, clearly y'all want one. Clearly everybody here wants one.
I need an origin story.
Yeah, right. It'll be interesting. I think that's gonna wrap us up though. This is the Main Street Movie Club. This is our first day getting together. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the guys. I appreciate Jazz, Lex for helping put everything together. Donna, the KC streetcar helping us put this together. Shout out B&B. So yeah, this is the Main Street Movie Club. We plan on doing this once a month, and just growing and building and getting this community together. So signing off, I am the Royal Chief. Appreciate y'all. Yes, go see Sinners. Go see Sinners.